Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin. Wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi washabbihi ajma'in. Respected moderator, my good friend for 40 years, Dr. Ananchai Taipratan, known as for me Bomo Arifin, distinguished speakers, leaders of the NGOs, with a wish, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, friends of justice and peace for Palestine, today I speak to you with a heavy heart and a hopeful spirit, as we remember a pivotal event in modern history, an event whose consequences continue to echo across generations and continents. On May 15 every year, Palestinians and their allies commemorate Al-Nakba, Arabic for catastrophe. It marks the year 1948, when over 700,000 Palestinians were uprooted from their homes during the establishment of the State of Israel. More than 400 Palestinian villages were destroyed, entire communities were erased, and families scattered. Many never returned to their land till today, but the Nakba was not a one-time event, but it is a continuing reality, unfortunately. For Palestinians, the Nakba is a life every day. It is their life in the refugee camps of Lebanon and Jordan, in Gaza under blockade, in the occupied West Bank, and in the hearts of the millions in the diaspora. It is lived through checkpoints, home demolitions, land seizures, and a system of laws that treat Palestinians differently because of who they are. It is the story of a people denied of a homeland, denied justice, denied the right to return. And yet, despite this prolonged suffering, Palestinians continue to stand with dignity, resilience, and hope. They have never abandoned their struggle for freedom, for justice, and for their rightful place in the world. But we must ask ourselves, what has been the response of the international community? The truth is, it has been a story of contradiction. On paper, the world has recognized Palestinian rights. The United Nations has passed dozens of resolutions affirming the right of return, condemning illegal settlements, and supporting self-determination. Human rights organizations from all around the world, Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch, and others, have called out for the reality of apartheid in the occupied territories. But too often, those words have not been matched by action. Resolutions remain unenforced. International law is applied selectively. Meanwhile, billions in military aid and diplomatic cover are extended to an occupying power, while the people under occupation are criminalized for resisting their oppression. This is not justice, and it is not peace. Peace is not the mere absence of conflict. It is not silence under domination. Peace must be rooted in justice, truth, and equality. Without this, any so-called peace process will fail again and again, as it has for decades. So how do we move forward? First, we must be brave enough to speak the truth. The Nakba must be recognized not just as history, but as a continuing human rights crisis. It must be acknowledged in our institution, in our education systems, and in our diplomacy. Silence is complicity, and denial only deepens the wound. Second, international law must be respected and enforced. The right of return for Palestinian refugees is not a suggestion. It is a legal right affirmed by the UN Resolution 194. Expansion of illegal settlements is not a debate. It is a violation of the Fourth Geneva Convention. The siege on Gaza, now ongoing for nearly 2 decades, is not security. It is a collective punishment. We cannot pick and choose when international law matters. Justice cannot be reserved for the powerful and denied to the oppressed. The International Criminal Court and other global mechanisms must be empowered to investigate and act whether the crimes are committed in Ukraine or in Syria or in Palestine. Third, we must amplify Palestinian voices. Too often, the Palestinian narrative has been silenced, distorted, or marginalized. We must listen to the poets, to the teachers, to the doctors, the children, the parents, those who live in this reality. We must share their stories, teach their history, and stand in solidarity with their calls for justice. Fourth, we must support grassroots movement for change. The global boycott, divestment, and sanction movement, rooted in principles of nonviolence and inspired by the anti-apartheid struggle in South Africa, calls for freedom, justice, and equality for Palestinians. Whether you agree with every tactic or not, its central demand is simple: treat Palestinians as full human beings under law. Change has never come from the top-down mechanism. It has always come from the ordinary people who refuse to accept the atrocities. Students, academicians, artists, and activists are already pushing the world to act differently, and we must support them, and we must be part and parcel of the movement. And finally, we must connect this struggle to the broader global fight for justice. The Palestinian cause is not isolated. It is part of a larger movement to dismantle systems of oppression, whether they are racial, colonial, economic, or environmental. When we stand for justice in Palestine, we stand for justice everywhere and for everybody. Friends of justice, remembering the Nakba is not about dwelling the past. It is about shaping the future. It is a call to conscience. It is a moral test of our time. Do we believe in human rights for all or only for some people? Do we believe in freedom and dignity for every child or just for those born on the right side of a border? Do we believe in peace built on justice or peace built on silence? The answer to this question will define not only the future of Palestine, but the future of the global order. The root problem of Palestinians is the Security Council of the United Nations. The Security Council is the reason for the Nakba calamity that we are suffering today. There must be a reform to the UN system. The UN must be democratized by expanding the veto power to regional blocs. As rightly mentioned by President Recep Tayyip Erdogan of Turkey, the world is bigger than 5. Dunya beşten büyüktür in Turkey. Africa with 1.4 billion people has no permanent veto power. Latin America, home to 650 million, has no veto power. ASEAN, 680 million citizens have no say when great powers decide their regional security. OIC, representing 57 Muslim majority countries, watch helplessly as vetoes block resolution upon resolution on the Palestinian issue. These regional blocs must be given a veto power within the UN Security Council. The veto was never meant to be eternal. It must be reformed, lest it will be rendered irrelevant to the world justice and global order. Let us be the generation that refused to look away. Let us be the voices that spoke when others stayed silent. Let us be the hands that build bridges where walls once stood. Together with courage, with truth, and with love for humanity, we can bring justice to Palestinians and peace to the Middle East. Free Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.